Hey there, fellow readers. Mrs. Weidman here, and today we're going to be talking about the young adult historical fiction novel Stateless by Elizabeth Wein. And although this book is historical fiction, there is a whole lot of information about 1937 in Europe and kind of what people were living through and what they were expecting, what they were nervous about, and what they were hopefully trying to avoid in the future. So the main character in this book is a girl, and her name is Stella North. And Stella is a little bit nervous, but very excited because she has actually just been chosen to be a pilot or one of the racers in the first ever youth air race contest, where a bunch of different young people from around Europe, from Italy and Germany, there's a racer from France, and of course her from Great Britain, they've been chosen to compete in this around the continent race, right, that starts in England and eventually ends in France, but of course visits places like Amsterdam, they go to Italy, they go to Germany, right, as well. So Stella's super excited about this race. However, she's nervous because she is not only going to be competing with a lot of other really great pilots, right, but she's also the only female racer. So this is a lot of extra pressure on her plate to make sure that not only does she perform well for all other women pilots, but also tries to take home the championship or the victory for Great Britain. And that's because the whole purpose of this race, apart from winning, of course, right, is they're trying to promote peace in Europe. And so the organizers of the race really want to show the world, they want to show Europe that all of these young pilots can not only get together and compete in this really grueling air race, but that they can also be friends and show that peace is possible in what was once a war-torn Europe. Because a lot of the adults in this book and some of the young people remember the Great War, which we call World War I, and they're desperate to never let this happen again. But of course, this is 1937 in Europe, and things are not exactly going well. Things are actually pretty bleak, right? Not only has the Great War just ended, but now there's this civil war that's broken out in Spain, right? And it's not going well. It looks like the Spanish government is actually going to topple to the rebels. And it's a really bloody, deadly, terrible war that's being ravaged throughout Spain, right? And of course, Italy now is in control of a fascist leader named Mussolini. And of course, in the early 1930s, Adolf Hitler and the National Socialist Party, aka the Nazis, right, have really taken over the German government. So people are really scared. They're really nervous, right, that another war is going to break out, but they're hoping that this air race will change all that. Well, unfortunately, on the very first leg of the race from Great Britain to France, it becomes very clear to Stella that somebody is bent on destroying, right, the peace and unity of these racers, and that they'll resort to anything from sabotage to just flat out murder, right, to get what they want, which is the exact opposite of peace in Europe. So if you're super into history, if you just like strong, awesome protagonists who are pilots, then I highly recommend Stateless by Elizabeth Wein as a great next read for you. See you all online soon.